Welcome back once again. This time I have a review for War for Cybertron Siege number 3, Blowpipe. Blowpipe was originally Triggerhappy's Target Master, so he is the first Decepticon Target Master we're getting in this toy line, and he is branded as such right here. So we're going to go ahead, open him up, let him pose around with Triggerhappy a little bit, and give some thoughts on the toy. Alright, so this is Blowpipe's robot mode. See, he's very brightly colored, very light shade of gray. It's like sky blue color, bright green face with a lighter green visor there. Decepticon symbol right there. He comes with this big fire blast effect, which is actually two pieces. You can separate. The center part here does come out, though they like to stick to each other, so it is kind of hard to separate them. So, yeah, there's that. You get this like little sunburst effect, and then more of like a typical laser fire. So you can, use these separately or together, whatever floats your boat. I tend to just keep them together. Mainly because I don't like prying apart these soft rubber pieces all the time. I think I'm going to break them eventually. So Blowpipe has a pretty standard articulation. Ball joints on each shoulder, ball joint on each hip. Though because of his permanently molded ankle tilt, he can really only stand one way. Head doesn't move, unfortunately. And then he's got this little gun backpack thing going on. And it can detach, just like fire drives, and can be attached to his forearm or his wrist, just like fire drives. So he can arm himself. He's not completely helpless in his robot mode. And then naturally, his gun barrel can accommodate his fire blast effect. So there's that. Looks a little unwieldy for him, honestly, but it works. Now, confusingly, this smaller barrel, this tip here looks like it would work for the fire blast effect, but in fact, no, it's way too small. Doesn't stay on there at all. So even though he's got two barrels, only the one big one can actually house this rubber piece here. Now the transformation to weapon mode is pretty simple. You flip his big gun barrel backpack up over his head, peg his feet together, then you bend his waist back at about a 90 and swing his heels around to where they tab into the gun barrel. All right, and then lastly, his wrists have tabs on the inside that plug into his hips. And that creates his weapon mode. And of course, attach his fire blast effect for added cool factor. And there's that. Now, Blowpipe is most commonly known as being the partner to the Decepticon Target Master, Triggerhappy. So, busted out my Titans Return Triggerhappy to show him off. And, he works just as well with Triggerhappy as he does the new Siege toys, but I feel like, special occasion, old friends reunited. So, yeah, he can be wielded just like any other weapon. Triggerhappy lacks the contact points that would allow you to attach his fire blast effect, but you can imagine how it looks. They plug in different parts of his body, simulate blaster fire or damage he's taking. Now their colors contrast in a way which is almost identical to the original 80s figures of these toys. They're very much on point in that regard, which I do feel it is kind of important for a Target Master partner to contrast with his bigger buddy. So he stands out a little bit more, really shows off that he's something special, not just some regular accessory to the toy. And these two just look great together. It took a year or so, but Triggerhappy finally has his partner back, which is great. If you're not against mixing and matching toy lines for your display, you can have these two together again. Looks a lot better than Triggerhappy's default ugly guns. If you want, you could just go ahead and attach those to his forearm mounted cannons there. Might make for a clean look. So yeah, if you're a completionist, this guy really is a must, especially if you already have Titan's Return Triggerhappy. Just like with Fire Drive and Hot Rod, these two are just meant for each other. Though if you don't have Triggerhappy, that's fine. Blowpipe works just as well for his intended purpose as being an accessory for the Transformers Siege toy line. I still debate whether $7 is really a fair price for these really small, barely articulated figures. I could see them costing more like what the Prime Masters did, about $5 or so. But there's nothing that can really be done for it. You either think it's worth the cost of entry or you don't. I am happy they made this guy. I do have high hopes that before the War for Cybertron trilogy concludes, that they'll finally produce the matching Target Master partners for the bigger figures that are lacking them. We already know of a couple more that are in the works, so fingers crossed we'll get all of them before it's all said and done. And in that regard, I'm really happy this toy exists. I'm really happy I have it. But that's how I feel about it. Feel free to let me know below what you think of this toy, if you think it's a worthwhile purchase. If there's anything you would have liked to have seen done differently. If you like this review, go ahead and toss it a like. If you want to see more toy reviews like this or Transformers discussion videos, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and be sure to click the notification bell. That way you actually get notified when I put a new video out. But with all that said, I will see you all next time.